We are live on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. But I still don't see us on the... Okay, now I see us. Mm-hmm. Okay. Good morning. Hello to everybody, and welcome to the AXMA session. This is the session about automatic landform classification, spatial methods and applications. The first contribution today is about computer-aided geomorphic seabed classification and habit mapping at Punta Licosa NPA, southern Italy. And it will present it Crescenzo Violante.
Okay, thank you, Maria. Thanks for organizing such a very interesting session. I'm going to share the screen if I am able to, but it didn't work.
Of course.
It doesn't work. I don't know why.
Don't worry. Retry it again.
I'm trying to share, but...
Otherwise, you can try to exit and restart Google Chrome and re-share again your presentation.
Okay, so now I'm not able. So I'm just going to exit and I'll be back in a minute, okay?
Yes, okay. Very
Streaming is on.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
I'm back. Okay. Now I think that we are okay. No. Can you see? No. Can you see? Okay. Okay. Good. We succeed.
Okay.
Right. So you can start. Okay. This presentation is about geomorphic seabed classification and automated seabed classification, which is mainly aimed to discriminate. Can you see? Can you hear? No?
No.
We don't see your presentation.
Okay. And now?
What are you sharing?
I'm sharing, I think, the screen. Let's see.
You have to open the presentation.
Okay. You cannot...
Before it worked, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Can you see?
Okay, now yes. Okay.
Now we see it.
And now?
Okay, thank you.
It's perfect now.
Okay.
Okay, you can go.
Okay, now we are working again. So, presentation is about seabed classification for habitat mapping at Punta Licosa, which is in southern Italy, and is done for testing these computer-aided methods. So let's see the aim. The main aim of the paper was to test relatively simply and free available tools that are mainly available online, that are dedicated to automated seabed classification, and these are specific tools that are designed to classify marine area in the frame of geophysical methodologies that are currently used.
In particular, as lagging behind regions in front.
I hear
someone have the microphone open.
I have some other voices.
Beniamino.
Their geographical.
I can hear another.
Okay. You can go, Crescenzo. Sorry.
Okay, thanks. Okay, this is the main aim, as I was saying, is to test the relatively simply and free available tools that are found online, and these tools are mainly aimed to automated seabed classification, are specifically designed for seabed classification, and these tools are tested in the frame of the geophysical methodologies that are normally and currently used and applied for benthic habitat mapping, of course, at seafloor. So the choose was the breast tools was the chosen tools and is a free standalone terrain analysis application developed by Masetti et al. 2018. It is a geomorphone-based algorithm that was designed specifically to segment seafloor from DAM based on multi-beam bathymetry. A further testing of this methodology was done by comparing these results, the results of this study, with a previous manually digitized benthic habitat map of the study area, which was produced by D'Angelo et al. In 2020. And this map was also based on the same geophysical dataset that was used in the present study. And this was done, of course, to examine the relative ability of semi-automated and manual techniques. The study area is in the southern Italy, as I said, is in Cilento, and is a marine protected area that was established since, I think, 2009, yes, on the basis of the marine species and habitats of priority importance for the European Union. The study area is about, the marine protected area is about 140 square kilometer wide, and it goes deep down to a depth of about 135 meters. On land, you have this rocky and cliffed coastal area, mainly composed of the Cilento units, which are mainly siliciclastics, and the coast is mainly rocky and cliffed, although it's not very high, but it's quite low. The main features in the marine area, the main geomorphological features, is the Licosa bank. Here you can see in the map here that are indicated with these stripes, diagonal stripes, and it is mainly composed of the Cilento units as well, and represent the seaward prosecution of the Punta Licosa promontory. From a geomorphological point of view, is characterized by is topped by two wave-cut terraces at -20 and -50 meters. All this geomorphic complexity, let's say, is fostering a high diversity of habitats in this area, which are dominated by biogenic sediments and coralligenous bioconstruction, which are made of encrusting organisms. So the methodology, as I said, is mainly based on geophysical survey, which are made by multi-beam sonar system, which are mainly used for high-resolution bathymetric measurements, and side-scan sonar system, which is a system that records the backscattering of the seafloor. Okay, this later system was used to construct the backscatter map of the seafloor that were then complemented with the seafloor samplings, and these allowed for information on seafloor composition. And on the other hand, the ROV inspections, which are remote operated vehicles, mostly are video inspection, were used to discriminate dominant biota. The multi-beam data were used, on the other hand, were gridded and were resulted in high-resolution bathymetric dam, and which were in turn used to discriminate landform classes by applying the Bless algorithm. Then the landform classes were translated in geomorphic units or geoforms by expert interpretation and visual interpretation. And these geoforms are geomorphic units, but they have also a kind of ecological balance. I will explain better later in the presentation this point. Then these geomorphic units or geoforms that were combined with seafloor composition, information seafloor composition, and dominant biota by ROV inspection to construct a map that is about the characterization and mapping of the benthic habitats in the study area. Just a few words on this geophysical survey that we used in this area. On the upper left, you can see the multi-beam echo sounder in action. It is used for high resolution bathymetric survey. It's a system which is mounted below a vessel, and it spreads a fan of beams, of acoustic beams that allow for complete coverage of the seafloor area. In the middle, there is the side scan sonar system that is used for collect acoustic data from the seafloor, on the base of which backscatter map are constructed. It is a towfish which is normally towed behind a vessel. On the right, you have this remotely operated vehicle, ROV, which is mostly used for video inspections. And then in the lower left, the Van Veen grab, which is used for sediment sampling on the seafloor. Okay, these are the available geophysical technology that...
Crescenzo, 2 minutes left.
2 minutes left, okay. So, very quickly, this is the results, some results. These are the 5-meter cell sites dam obtained by this data. It's a shaded relief map here. And here you have a side scan map on the right with the combination of both together with the sampling of the seafloor was used to construct the characterized habitat mapping. But before that, we come to the point of this presentation, which is the automated landform classification. The BRESS algorithm was used to discriminate 4 landform classes, which are flat, slope, ridge, and scarps. And based on visual interpretation, these landform classes were translated directly or were considered as landscape elements of geoforms. On this base, once geoforms, substrates, and dominant biota were characterized, an habitat mapping, as you can see on the left, was constructed. On this basis, were identified 9 habitats that are here reported in a different color, and these are the description. I go fast so we can go to the end. The other testing was done by comparing this map with the previous one. The comparing was revealed that they are quite comparable, but BRESS algorithm was most effective at capturing boundaries of the mapped geoforms and habitats, and also introduced 2 new landform classes that made the habitat mapping, the resulting habitat mapping, in some way different from the one previously digitalized. These are the final conclusion. So we constructed this and characterized this habitat mapping in the study area by applying this integrated marine geophysical survey that included a multi-beam inside the scan system aided by ROV inspection and seafloor sampling. The application, this free BRESS terrain, was quite successful and positive at generating meaningful landform classes used to identify geomorphic units and then benthic habitats. It allowed also for high-speed classification of terrain over complex morphology that characterized the study area. And of course, as stated also somewhere else, this system still needs of subjective expert interpretation to distinguish among landscape classes and to make a quality control on geomorphic classification of the resulting geomorphic classification. Thanks for your attention. I'm finished.
Thank you, Crescenzo. And now unshare your screen. Thank you.
Yes. Do I have to?
Any questions? Let me see if there are any questions also on YouTube. First of all, Censo, thank you for your contribution, because when we treat marine data is always a fascinating work. But I have many questions for you. You said segmentation, right?
Why segmentation? I don't understand.
But it is pixel-based segmentation, right?
Well, I'm not sure of that, because as I said, I'm applying these tools. Just it was an experiment to test these freely available tools on the web. So
Okay.
I'm not really into the methods of breath analysis.
Okay, because
Okay.
you know now there are many object-oriented,
Yes.
object-based segmentation. So probably the method could be improved in this way. And
Yeah, I
of
think so, yeah.
course, you can, for example, look at the next presentation, because there is a method called geomorphon, and perhaps it could be useful because there are
Yes.
some landforms that are common. For bathymetric data and for landform, terrestrial landform.
Yes.
So let's introduce Dario.
Okay, I will. Okay, I will listen very carefully to this next presentation. Thanks.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Sorry, Christian, so can you unshare your screen, please?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now, the second contribution is the comparison of different methods of automated landform classification at the drainage basin scale. Examples from the southern Italy. The work is done by Dario Gioia, Maria Danese, Mario Bentivenga, Eva Pescatore, Vincenzo Siervo, e Salvatore Ivogiano. The work is presented by Dario Gioia. Dario, we don't listen to you.
Dario, you are muted.
Okay. Can you see?
Now, yes, we listen to you.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Let's start. In this work, we have tested.
Dario, press F5. Yes, of course. In
Now?
presentation mode.
Okay. Sorry. I select the wrong screen. I have two screens. This is the problem.
Okay. In fact, in this moment, we don't see your presentation. Okay. You can go.
Okay.
8 minutes.
Okay. In this work, we have tested two well-known methods of automatic landform classification: the topographic position index proposed by Jennes et al. And the geomorphon-based method proposed by Jasiewicz and Stepinski. These two algorithms of landform classification have been applied in 3 test areas of the southern Italy with very different geological geomorphological features in order to verify the reliability of the automatic landform classification as an alternative tool to traditional geomorphological mapping, which is a time-consuming and frequently subjective approach. In this slide, we can see the workflow of the study. We have extracted the automatic landform classification maps using the two algorithms in the 3 study areas, starting from high-resolution DEM. We select the best algorithm parameters and appropriate search window sizes using an iterative procedure based on the comparison between the automatic landform classification maps and manual geomorphological maps of small test areas. Then we perform a visual and statistical analysis of the selected automatic landform classification maps of the study area. Here, an overview of the two algorithms. The topographic position index is based on the difference between the height of a cell and the main altitude within a search radius. The algorithm works in ArcGIS and combines two different search radii, a smaller one and a larger one. Landform classification is also related to the main slope of the search windows. TPI-based classification gives 10 landform classes. Geomorphon methods is quite similar than the TPI, but uses a computer vision approach and a self-adapting search windows. Also, this method gives 10 basic landform classes with similar features than the TPI method. This slide summarizes the results of the first test area, which include a small sector of the axial zone of the southern Apennines, which can, a geomorphological point of view, these areas featured by high relief, steep slopes, and a well-developed drainage network. To the right, we can see the two automatic landform classification maps coming from the TPI methods and geomorphon methods, which show strong difference. Slope classes are the most representative landform for both algorithms. TPI method is characterized by a better delineation of flat area, such as small intramontane basins and alluvial plains, whereas geomorphon method show a better delineation of minor channels and rivers. The second test area is a simple landscape in the foretip of the southern Apennine chains. It is featured by a wide terraced surface at the top of the landscape. This surface gently dips toward the northeast and is incised by minor rivers and minor fluvial channel. Also in this case, the two maps show different results. The TPI-based map is dominated by flat class, which mainly coincide with the terraced surface. Slope class is the largest one in the geomorphon map, whereas the flat area cover only the 10% of the study area. Geomorphon algorithm is able to discriminate the central and undissected subhorizontal sector of the terrace, but low-angle surface and steep slopes are not differentiated. This issue is well visible in this slide, where we can observe an overlap between automatic classification maps and contour lines. The analysis of the map show a higher level of detail of the geomorphon method, with a better delineation of the minor valley and poorly incised terrace surface. To improve the delineation of the main landform of this sector, the method should include a slope threshold, which could be useful to discriminate low-angle terrace surface and steeper slope related to the fluvial incision. On the other hand, it is clear that the TPI method tends to overestimate the flat areas. The other study area is a small catchment of the central sector of the Apulia foreland and corresponds to a low relief karstic landscape carved in Cretaceous shallow water limestones. TPI-based map is dominated by flat areas, which represent about 80% of the total area. Karst Valley, with a flat bottom and their steep flanks, are not well delineated. On the contrary, geomorphon-based method show a better delineation of the drainage network and well identify the main fluviokarstic landform of the study area. Due to the general low-angle dip of the landscape, slope class is the largest one in the geomorphon map, but local flat areas also occurred. So the introduction of a slope threshold in the algorithm can improve the landform classification. To close, a short summary of the results. Preliminary geomorphological analysis suggests that the two algorithms could represent a basic tool to recognize the main geomorphological elements of the study areas, but the algorithm needs to be improved. This will be the next step of the research, of our research. Visual and statistical comparison of the automatic landform classification maps highlights a strong difference between the two algorithms, which provide different landform classification. This has been mainly observed in the 4D per 4 land sectors. TPI-based classification is strongly influenced by search windows, whereas geomorphism method is easier to apply. Geomorphism-based classification need to be updated with a slope threshold, able to differentiate low-angle surfaces and steeper slope. Finally, next steps in this research field should include a quantitative analysis of the prediction ability of automatic landform classification methods using, for example, detailed field-based geomorphological maps. Thank you for the attention.
Thank you, Dario. You are perfectly in time.
Good.
Remember to unshare your screen.
Okay, done.
Okay, and if there are any questions. Okay, I am a co-author, but I have the same question for you, Dario. Do you think this method works just for this study area, or for example, do you think that geomorphism and GNS method are good also in other territorial contexts, such as, I don't know, America, Australia, or I don't know, everywhere?
Of course. It is clear that automatic landform classification is very useful, is particularly useful in larger area, at a national scale, at a continental scale. So I think that it is important to test these methods in larger area. But the validation of the map is needed.
Okay, okay.
Also for smaller area.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Dario. And let's go to the third
I
contribution.
have a question. May I ask you questions? Crescenzo.
Okay.
Okay.
Crescenzo.
Yeah. Thanks for the presentation. I find it very interesting, and as far as I know, geomorphism-based approach is also applied in marine area on
Yes.
seafloor, and that's why I choose one of that tools that I showed in the previous presentation. And my was a kind of end user, let's say, of using of these tools. But maybe you said that this geomorphism-based approach needed of implementation for the steeper areas, as I understand. Yeah, maybe you can try to divide, different area in the base of their slopeness, their steepness, so you can have better results. What do you think about that?
Can you repeat?
I mean, if you have an area with high morphological diversity, you can try to divide by visual inspections to make a mask for dividing more complex area with the steeper slopes from the ones that are more plain, more smooth, and apply.
Yes, I can answer for Dario because I am
Okay.
the author of the paper.
Okay.
Yes, it's really simple because it is enough a pre-processing of the classification. So we can do a pre-processing by differing about steep slope and low slope, and then to apply geomorphism.
Yeah, that's what I did. That's what I did in my works, and it works quite well. Worked quite well. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Or we can use the map algebra.
Yes.
We extract the geomorphon map and divide the slope sector in low angle surface and steeper slope according to a slope threshold.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, we have to go, otherwise we are not in time, to the third contribution. Tools for semi-automated landform classification, a comparison in the Basilicata region, southern Italy. The contribution is about Salvatore Ivogiano, Maria Danese, Dario Gioia, Eva Pescatore, Vincenzo Siervo, and Mario Pettivenga. And Salvatore Ivogiano presents this paper.
Okay.
Hello, Ivo.
Good
Share
morning.
your screen.
You listen me?
Yes, we listen, and we listen to you, but we don't see your screen.
You don't see my screen?
No. Did you share it?
Just a moment. I see. Okay. You see?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Good morning, everybody.
Yes.
And this presentation is based on a semi-automatic extraction of landform using different applications. It is well known that landforms are simple or compound feature of the landscape, and that can be automatically or semi-automatically extracted by software application. In fact, starting from the last century, landforms in the past was handmade, measured, and have had an acceleration in the last year, and in their computation, was implemented thanks to the introduction of computer technology and GIS-based spatial analysis. The use of digital elevation models, the development of powerful GIS software with a user-friendly programming environment, and the increase in computer capability have allowed for an increase in the development of computer algorithms in different disciplines. As I said, the aim of this research is addressed to extract and classify different landforms using three software applications. The three software are ArcView, Saga GIS, and ArcMap GIS. We used the same landform classification, and for this purpose we used the TPI index, the topographic positioning index, as proposed many years by Weiss and successively implemented in GIS by Genes in 2006. It is important to consider that the TPI index is scale depending, and then this value must change with the dam grid resolution. For this purpose, we have selected two dams with different grid resolution, as 5 meters and a 20-meter resolution. After a comparison of different landform maps extracted and classified by the 3GIS application, and using the two different size resolution dams, we realize a visual inspection of the better map resulting by the three different applications. And in particular, we try to recognize what is the semi-automatic landform map that show the better result with regard to the real morphological feature of the landscape. For this purpose, in the choice of the study area, we have considered a landscape that contain very heterogeneous and then a complex landscape which is characterized by many morphological features such as mountain shape with rugged forms reaching over 2,000 meters of altitude, and this type of landscape show high relief. Another relief is an hill-shaped landscape which shows smooth peaks and large valley. And another type of landscape can be considered a coastal to fluvial landscape that is characterized by flat and large plain, and as a consequence show low relief. All this type of landscape are well represented in the landscape of the Basilicata region located in the southern Italian Apennines, that is, as a consequence, is selected. The method we used is that of the topographic position index, and the algorithm is implemented with a combination of map algebra function and returns a classification of the index into slope position landform types. In the TPI, two parameters are important: the selection of the dam resolution and then of the grid resolution, the choice of the neighborhood parameters for obtain the acceptable results. We use the annulus ready for search window for calculation, where a smaller neighborhood is useful to identify small and local hills and valleys, while a larger neighborhood identifies larger features. The result is the production of a 10 landform, and in the selection of the parameters we used a factor f. This factor is represented for each neighborhood by a range of values, because it depends also on the landscape mean slope. Usually with low value of slope, best result was obtained by using low f in the range, whereas higher values of the...
minutes left.
Okay, mama. Okay. We show results for a landform map with a 20-meter resolution. We have grouped all the 10 landform into 4 main classes, represented by fluvial valley, plain landform, slope landform, and summit landform. The visual inspection has shown that some application have extracted and classified a very good landform, whilst other applications such as ArcMap has extracted and not well landform. For example, plain landform, the plain landform of the Ionian coastal plain has been well recognized in the 20 meters resolution there. Conversely, in a 5-meter resolution dam, ArcView and SagaGIS has shown good results on, especially in floodplain and high mountain landforms. we have used a percentage of class extracted by the 3GIS application, and in the last slide we show that only the ArcMap percentage is different with regard to the other two application. In conclusion, we can say that the map classification extracted from the 20-meter grid has shown a well distribution of all the landform. Conversely, the map extracted for the 5-meter dam with the ArcMap has not shown a good landform. And then for a 20-meter dam, it is useful to use the saga of the ArcView, whilst in the tidal dam as a 5-meter dam, it is useful to use the ArcMap application. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ivo. I'm sorry, but there's no time for questions. And fourth contribution, the high-resolution LiDAR derived dams in hydrographic network extraction and short-time landscape changes. The author is Maurizio Lazzari, and Maurizio, you can share your presentation with us.
Yes.
You have 8 minutes from here.
It's okay, the visualization?
Yes, it's okay. You can go.
Okay. Good morning, everyone, and thanks to the organizer for this very interesting session. I present the results of work focused on a specific automatic extraction action that is relative to the hydrographic network extraction. In order to define a short-time morpho-evolution model and landscape changes in a short-time span. In this paper, I applied an automatic methodology to extract the channel network, starting from multi-temporal LiDAR derived dams and using a semi-quantitative methodology to assess the short-time landscape evolution. The test area and the study area is located along the main axis of the Southern Apennines in Basilicata region, southern Italy, where complex formation outcrop in a wider area. And in particular, the test area is located about 2 kilometers east of the Calciano town, located on the right side of the Basento River, one of the main river of this region. In particular, we can see orthophoto image representing the study area with the main town of Calciano. This is the Basento River, and we are on the left, on the right side of this river. The technique used is based on fundamentally on a local nonlinear filter together with a global geodesic optimization, and is based on GeoNet algorithm defined by Bassalacqua et al.'s author. LiDAR, the DEMS, the DTMs are LiDAR derived, starting from two different acquisition relative at 2000 12 and 2030. LiDAR derived DTM permit direct detection of the channels and in particular of the channel head, how we can see in the following slides. Bassalacqua et al. Script proposed in 2010 MATLAB tools, so-called GeoNet, where the accumulation area was computed outside the code and the curvature threshold was visually determined from quantile plots. Following the methodology proposed by Bassalacqua et al., a processing of the data of the two DEMS was carried out, obtaining the curvature and skeleton by a thresholding curvature. In this feature, we can observe the skeleton derived by the first application of the processing, data processing. When the skeleton obtained by the thresholding curvature and the contributing area is computed, the algorithm proceeds with detection of the endpoint. The endpoint corresponds to channel head that are identified as the points at which the skeleton hangs. So we can see in these two features the projection of the hydrographical network extraction relative to the 2 years of acquisition of LiDAR acquisitions, in which the points at which the channel branch hand are identified. In particular, we can observe in this zoom how there is a perfect correspondence of the hydrographic network extraction respect to the real condition on the field, and the endpoint of branches correspond to channel head and some probably in some cases could be also correspond to a nick point, but this have to verify on the field to be sure. Among the advantages that the analysis of multi-temporal LiDARs by DEMS offers, there is certainly the possibility to verify the evolution of hydrographic network in a short time span. In this feature, I have projected the two hydrographical networks extracted by GeoNet algorithm, comparing the extension, linear extension, and the position of the channel head. In particular, in this zoom feature, we can see in orange the older hydrographical net respect to the younger hydrographic net. So we can evaluate quantitatively the retreating rate of the channel head in the time. So how we can see in these circles areas. So we can conclude with final remarks underlining the advantages coming from the application of this methodology. And the extraction of channel network is using high resolution DEMS LiDAR derived, and we can also define morphoevolution models of on a specific slope, study slope, projecting in the time the possibility to evaluate the rotating rates of the channel heads in time. So discussing in a wider topics on the landscape changing of singular or specific studied area, starting from the evolution of hydrographic network. I concluded, and thank you very much, and I am available for some questions eventually. Thank you.
Thank you, Mauri, for attention, even if we have really little time. Okay, just a little question from me. Are you satisfied from the results, or do you think they are more and more improvable?
Sorry, you can repeat, because...
Do you think that
Yes.
your results could be
Yes.
improved more, or do you think that these are the perfect results? The perfect method
I
to
think,
extract perfectly the stream?
Yes, for this specific application in this specific area, I think that the results are very good respect to the real situation, because it's important always to check and to control, to compare the application and the models with the real evolution of the sites. So we can calibrate exactly how the model must be improved or not. So in this case, I am satisfied.
Okay, no, just because today there are many methods, object-based, that could be applied to your case study, such as multi-resolution segmentation, object-based. So
yeah,
think about it.
Okay.
And with this suggestion, I thank everybody for the participation. There are many other sessions. You can go there to follow the other session. Thank you again to follow us, and goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you to you.
Thank you, Maria. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Mario.
Grazie a te. Bye bye.
Grazie.
Is on.
So we have someone from the next session. Hi.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
but I can see you.
Unfortunately, my camera, I think, doesn't work. But
Okay.
it's the session. What's the name for the session? Because
The name is, just a second. It's the session Fista.
yes,
The chair is Bernardi Abdoğan
yes,
from Kyushu Sangyo University.
yes. So I'm the first presenter.
You are the first presenter.
Yes.
Can you change your name, please? In
Uh,
your profile preview, in the right column here.
Так.
You see, on fellow register, you can change your name. So I recognize you.
Oh, I don't know. I should go to which corner?
On the right.
Yes, on the
With
right.
the,
Yes.
the squares. Okay. On
Yeah.
fellow register of your profile, you
Okay,
click
maybe
on.
maybe I will share my screen then.
We wait 5 minutes for
Okay.
start.
So
Even because
so
we
I
are.
go. Yes. Okay. I go to the right side or.
What?
So
No, for
to
the
change,
name, I was saying.
yes, for the name, where should I change it? I just didn't use this tool before. So where should I change it? This name, I don't see.
I'm sorry. I can understand you.
You said I need to change the name.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, but I don't understand where I should change it.
Where?
Yes.
Okay, in the right column.
Yes.
There is your profile preview.
Yes.
If you click on fellow register of your square, you can write your name.
I see my like black.
Yes.
And, should I? That's
click on fellow register.
I don't see this kind of.
No.
There's another way. Please excuse me.
Yeah, hi, Professor.
Yeah, sorry, Sarah.
No.
There's another way actually. If you go in settings, on the bottom right corner, you open the settings and then go in the profile tab. Can you see the icon settings on the bottom right corner, the 3 dots icon?
Yes, more actions. Yes, I can see it.
Okay, click on settings then, or maybe you have it in another language.
Yes.
Go in profile.
Так. Yes, I can see it now. Yes.
And you can set your display name.
Yes. So just a moment, I will type it.
Yes, everybody can do that also. Yeah. Okay, so, Irina Astrova.
Yes, exactly. It's me. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Irina.
Yes, hi.
Okay.
So, sorry, it's the first time when I use it. So
yes, I see. Other people are already changing their names, so everything should be fine. Are you here for the next session, Irina?
Once again, please.
Are you here for the next session?
Yeah, she's the first presenter,
yes.
But we are waiting for the chairman.
Okay.
Oh, the chairman told me that he's coming, so maybe wait him a couple of minutes more, and if he doesn't show up, Sarah can take over and start the presentations. All right?
Okay.
Okay, just in case you have any problems, Sarah will advise me. I need to go and check other rooms if everything is running smoothly. So if you have some problems, I will be here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. Have a good session, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, so we start in 2 minutes. We wait for the chairman. Otherwise, we'll go
without him.
Without him, yes.
Will you also present some paper during this session?
Me?
Yes.
No. I'm just a GC assistant.
Okay.
I'm a PhD student from Cagliari. I'm working for the conference.
Yes.
So if you have any technical problems with GC, I'm here to help.
Good to know that we are not alone.
There's someone from the other presenters here. I see Inano, Toshihiro, Momoka. We are presenters, right? You can open your microphone for talk.
I'm Tanaka. I'm here. I'm
Hi.
Tanaka. Here, hi. Thank you.
You are a presenter?
Yeah, second presentation.
What's the paper?
Hello.
Hi. Who is
Hello.
there? Yes?
Hello, this is Bob Abduhan, the chair of FISTA Session 1.
Hi, I'm Sarah, the GT assistant.
Yep.
Okay, so I leave the floor to you. We are on time. The first presenter
Can you
is...
see me? Can you see me?
No. No.
No.
No. I just hear you.
Yes, yes.
But I can see, we can see you. It's black. And I hear a lot of voices there.
Okay, hold on.
Okay. I just hear you. Okay. So there you are. We see you now.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes. So I leave the stage to you. We can start.
Yeah, hello.
And the first presenter, Irina, is ready.
Hold. Yeah, and so can everybody turn off the microphone, please? Can you hear me? Yes. Can everybody turn off the microphone except the presenter? Yes.
Someone have YouTube open?
Yes. Yes, because hello.
Yeah, no, the microphone are all closed, but I think that someone have YouTube open. If they mute YouTube, will not have a problem.
Yes.
YouTube open.
Yes, because
Irina, you have YouTube open?
Sorry, once again?
You have YouTube open? The live stream of this page?
What should I do? I don't understand.
No, if you now have YouTube open.
I think you only, for presenters, you only have to choose Jitsi. You cannot have both, otherwise we're going to have problems.
I don't understand. What should I do? I currently share my screen.
No, that's right, your screen. But I think that Bernardi or Irina have YouTube open now. Okay, no. And because I hear our voices.
It's not my voice. I'm completely alone in the room. There is it's quiet in the room.
Bernardi, you have YouTube open?
What?
That's right, your screen. But I think that
I don't understand at all because of noise.
Okay. Bernardi, can you hear us?
Okay, I have turned off my YouTube.
Okay, now it's perfect.
Yes, exactly.
I closed.
So, can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So then I can start, I think, yes?
Sure, sure.
Okay. Hello, my name is Irina Astrova. I'm from Tallinn University of Technology. Let me present a paper on using market basket analysis to find semantic duplicates in anatology. This paper was written in cooperation with the Hanover University of Applied Sciences and Arts. The aim of market basket analysis is to find items that are frequently purchased together by customers during their visits to supermarket. Baskets are a set of products or items that appear together in a single basket. As you can see from this picture, many customers buy milk and bread together. While the aim of market basket analysis is to find frequently items that are frequently bought together. This information is used to find similar items. In particular, two items are similar if the purchase patterns of their customers are similar. Let's take another example. Consider Heineken and Beck's beers. At the first sight, those two items may appear dissimilar because we don't have many common customers. The customers either buy Heineken beer or Beck's beer, but it was observed that together with Heineken and Beck's, many customers also buy chips, sausages, and pizzas. And based on this observation, we can conclude that Heineken is similar to Beck's. While the market basket analysis is looking for items that are frequently purchased together by customers, this information is often presented in form as if-then rules called association rules. Continuing the previous example, we can observe that if customers buy Heineken, then they also buy chips, sausages, and pizzas. And also, if customers buy Beck's, then they also buy chips, sausages, and pizzas. Based on those observations, we can conclude Heineken is similar to Beck's. So here we conclude, we make conclusion based on the association rules. For this purpose, we look what items appear on the right-hand side of the rules. If we have a pair of rules that have a similar set of items on the right-hand side of the rules, then the items that appear on the left-hand side of the rules of the same rules will be viewed as similar. In our paper, we proposed to use the market basket analysis to find similar attributes in an ontology. What is an ontology? An ontology is a formal description of knowledge as a set of concepts within domain and relationships that hold between them. To enable such a formal description, the ontology should have instances of objects, classes, and, for example, and attributes. In our paper, we proposed to think of an ontology as if it were a supermarket. In the supermarket, we have items or products. So we think of an item or product as if it were an attribute of an ontology. So let item be an attribute, let basket or sales transaction be a query, and let sales transaction database be a query log, and customers who bought items in supermarket be a user who issued queries against the ontology. There are a number of algorithms that are used in market basket analysis to find similar attributes. To prove the applicability of market basket analysis in finding similar attributes in ontology, we selected two popular algorithms. One is called a priori algorithm, which is array-based algorithm, and another algorithm is a tree-based algorithm. It is called FP, or frequent pattern growth algorithm. As you can see, both algorithms take a sales transaction database as input, and the result of those algorithms are association rules. The algorithms from market basket analysis make many assumptions about supermarket, about baskets, about items, about sales transactions, about sales transaction database. We propagate similar assumptions to an ontology. For example, we assume that a query can contain any number of attributes, but usually users don't query about all the attributes in ontology, but rather they query just about small set of attributes. So we say that query usually contain only a small set of attributes from all available in ontology. We also ignore attributes, values, and data types in query. We ignore the order of attributes in the query, and we also assume that queries are mined for a long period of time, at least for 6 months. One assumption that will be like broken in ontology. In supermarket, it is assumed that only baskets brought to register for checkout are taken into account, so the customer should pay for those baskets. But in ontology, we take into account all queries, regardless of whether they return search results or not. For our experiments, we take one ontology that is called OntoLife. This ontology describes different aspects of a person's life, and it contains more than 100 attributes. Since this ontology was merged out from 10 other ontologies like person, friend to friend, family tree, project, and so on, we assumed that this ontology can contain similar attributes or semantic duplicates. For our experiments, we extracted a small set of queries from the query log. This was a real query log issued by users in the past. This query log contained, for our experiments, contained 30 queries against the OntoLife ontology. I just remind you that the input for market basket analysis algorithms is a sales transaction database. That is why this query log had to be converted to a sales transaction database. You can see that a sales transaction database contains 30 rows, one row per query. And so this is like a query. We list here only the attributes that were used in the query, and we ignore the order of those attributes and their values. So when we got this sales transaction database, we ran the a priori and FP growth algorithms. Both algorithms return the same results. The difference was in their runtime. The FP growth algorithm was faster than the a priori algorithm. This picture shows just results of one of our experiments. You can see in this experiment we got 22 association rules. And in this, among those rules, we look for those where we can see the same set of attributes on the right hand side of the rules. And you can see that we found two pairs of such rules. One pair is marked in blue. This pair of rules suggested about that resource title and resource name are similar attributes. As I said, you see that those rules have the same set of attributes on the right side. So the attributes that appear on the left side are assumed to be similar. Then, in addition, we found one more candidate for similar attributes. These are marked in red in the picture, but this was a false positive, specific date and sickness injury description. And the reason for false positive was that we experimented on a very small query log which contained 30 queries. As I said, market basket analysis assumed that the sales transaction database should be very big. And to conclude, in this paper, we presented the results of our experiments on the query log that was issued against OntoLife ontology. The purpose of our experiments was to show that market basket analysis in general and priori and FP growth algorithms in particular are capable of finding similar attributes in ontology. All the user involvement is needed because those algorithms can bring also false positives. Based on the market basket analysis, where two items are considered to be similar if the purchase patterns of their customers are similar, we use the same principle for ontology. We say that two attributes in ontology are similar if querying patterns of their users are similar. Thank you for your attention.
Bernard, you're muted. Open the microphone.
Sorry. Does any sorry? Does anyone has question or comments regarding the presentation of Irina? Okay, while waiting for other people to ask questions, then Irina, I would like to ask you some related works to this work. I know you have done a lot of work on this issue, on this topic, but I would like to see some related works with regards to your research.
In the paper, it is given. In this presentation, was not given because of a short time. But in our previous work, we also use some other algorithms from market basket analysis and got different results, a bit different results. And we also thought about that in this paper. We used one similarity measure for attributes, but actually it we can use different similarity measures. For example, we can try to find similar attributes by their names, by their types, by their relations, and so on. So in the future, we are going to apply other algorithms from market basket analysis, because the big disadvantage of both algorithms presented here is that they can bring redundant rules, and these redundant rules can lead to false positives. So we think about applying a better algorithm, and also we would like to have a bigger query log to have more precise results.
Okay, so I guess there are quite a number of algorithms applicable to this issue.
Yes.
But the thing is, I would like to ask if you have in mind or have set some something like criteria in something like evaluating these algorithms.
Those we evaluated. It's like the user involvement. I mean, it's when we look, we just like intuitively feel that this is wrong. Yes. But yes, you're right. Like in the future, no, we should think about it.
Okay, that's going to be something like performance analysis.
Yes, exactly. Yes, because currently we have only performance analysis for those two algorithms, and as I said, the FP growth algorithm was faster than a prior algorithm, but the results were the same. So they found the same positive, true positives, the same false positives, and we'd like to work in this direction to reduce the number of false positives.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Anybody from the floor? Question or comments from the floor? Okay, not unless you have questions, then we proceed to the next speaker, please. Thank you very much, Irina.
You're welcome.
Okay, next speaker, please. So we're going to have IoT software by data flow programming in mRuby programming environment.
Okay, I'll share.
Okay.
Can you see?
Hey, go ahead. Okay. Good.
Okay, I'm Tanaka from Kyushu Institute of Technology. I'm talking about IoT software by data flow programming in mRuby. So mRuby is the programming name, mRuby programming environment. Yes. About IoT software, so we must implement some code and some IoT scene. Please think about the IoT scene. Such requirement is rapid development because IoT area is not clear for the developers. So build and deploy is necessary. So and the trial and error is necessary. So in such scene, the rapid development environment is needed. And also, IoT software is for developers because now developing IoT applications now. So easy to understand or easy to write. Also, such readability or understandability is very important in such IoT softwares. And also, the data flow programming is good for IoT software development because IoT is, so my sense, IoT is a sensor and the data processing and network transmission for the cloud system and so on. So in such area, the important point is data transmission, a sensor to processing area, and processing area to network area. So such data flowing is very important. So I'm now developing about the data flow programming environment for IoT software. So, but some difficulty in IoT software development. Usually, IoT software is developed by C or C++ language because the small microcontroller software for small microcontroller, or sometimes some so high performance is necessary for such IoT software. So usually C or C++ language is used for IoT software development. As you know, the C or C++ is can realize high performance in execution time and less memory in execution time. That is very good for IoT software. So that feature can reduce the resource on the microcontroller. So that is good for the IoT software. But usually C language is a very high cost in development because the code is sometimes difficult to understand, or sometimes such code cannot reuse. So that is a high cost in development. And in other point is mRuby. So mRuby is a programming language for embedded software. I'm now researching and developing about mRuby for several years. So mRuby is mRuby is execution speed is not so high, but that mRuby is the compiling language, so not so slow. So medium performance in execution time, and medium memory resources in execution time. So, but low cost, that is good point in mRuby. Ruby language is very easy to understand, easy to read. So readability is first key point of the mRuby. So low cost in development. Then I'm now applying such mRuby language for IoT software development. So mRuby is the compiling language. So mRuby source code is compared to the mRuby bytecode. Bytecode is very similar to Java language bytecode, Java bytecode, and deployed to target device. Target device is already usually pre-deployed some mRuby virtual machine. Virtual machine execute mRuby bytecode step by step, byte by byte. Then mRuby program is executed on the target device. And also, I'm adapt such mRuby language to more smaller implementation, smaller microcontroller. So mRuby, this is called mRuby-C. This is another implementation of mRuby. This is a smaller implementation and targeting for the one-chip microcontroller, very small microcontroller. The memory consumption is about 40 kilobytes or less, so very small memory resources is using in mRuby-C. And the concurrent execution is available in mRuby-C. Concurrent execution means several program, mRuby program can execute, can be executed on concurrently in this virtual machine. This feature is good for the non-OS environment. Usually, we want to use the operating system for execute in several programs. Operating system is designed for several program concurrent execution for several programs. But more smaller implementation, we don't want to use the operating system for smaller or one-chip microcontroller. So MRVC supports the concurrent execution in virtual machine. Back to the data flow programming. Data flow programming is data is passed to node by node. First node is data source. Usually this is a sensor, and passed to the next node. Next node is usually a data processing, and transmit to the network or output to some destination. Is a usual case of the data flow programming. This is a data programming environment. This is an example of the node-RED environment. So each node is connected by the wire. Wire is passing some data from source to destination. So my development is this data flow environment to MRV code. So I try to convert such data flow programming code to MRV write code. So this is the implementation of this work. Development in Node-RED environment. Node-RED is very popular in data flow programming. Some executed by the Node JavaScript. This is a development environment, and the source code of the Node-RED code, that is data flow programming code, is generated. Generator convert to the MRV bytecode and deploy to the one-chip microcontroller. So execution is by MRV. Node-RED is originally Node-RED is execution environment is JavaScript, but this generator converts such Node-RED program to the MRV code. Then MRV can execute. MRV virtual machine can execute this Node-RED data programmed code. So detail of the data flow programming to the MRV bytecode is converting about the node and wires. Node is a sensor or data processing or data transmission to the cloud system. Is a node. Wire is a connected wire. And so node is convert to the MRV program code. That is very easy to understand. That is not very natural. And wire is a queue of the data. So because sometimes one node is getting from the several data source. So in such case, some data queue is necessary for the wires. So in this data programming, the 3 programs and 2 queues are implemented and generated to the MRV code, and finally deployed to the target device. So I already implement this generator of the data from Node-RED program code to the MRV bytecode, and already opened as open source software in GitHub. So data programming is used Node-RED Node-RED are converted to the bytecode by this work, and wires and nodes are converted to queue and programs. So this implementation is good for the data flow programming. So several data is concurrently executed. Several data processing is concurrently executed and passed to the next node by the queue. Is very natural to execute in MRV code, and I think this is very useful for the IoT software development. So that was. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Tanaka. Okay, anybody from the floor have questions or? Okay,
yes, I have.
Go ahead, please. Go ahead,
yes,
please.
Abdullah raised his hand.
Yeah, I have 2 questions. So I want to ask the first question about database. Of course, we are using IoT, so we store somewhere data. So the question is that which is the best scenario to use
Yeah.
RDBMS structured data instead going to use NoSQL? Or in other words, you can say alternative, why NoSQL is better than relation databases? Can you suggest about it?
Yeah. This work is data programming to the IoT software development for IoT software development. So database is I'm not treating about this work in this work. Sorry, but my idea of NoSQL database is good for the storing data for the IoT software, I think. So I'm sorry. So I'm not focusing to the
Okay.
database data.
All right,
Sorry.
no problem. The last question is that you are programming in IoT, right? So if we use multiple sensors in one single project, and one sensor get fail, or we have to add a new sensor and redeploy the system again. So what do? You just redeploy the whole system, or some services which you added, or you just shut down that services? Will it impact on other services?
Yeah. You mean some kind of feedback system? I think so. No. So some data source is transmit to the to processing and output. That is the natural flowing of the data. But sometimes the feedback is necessary for in such case. So in such feedback, maybe some data storage is necessary. So as you say, data storage is necessary because feedback implementation in data programming is not natural. So this is the answer for you. That is okay for you.
Yeah, but okay, it's fine.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much for answering the question.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. I have some comments. Is this work already uploaded in GitHub?
Sorry. I found some bugs in this software. Sorry. So soon I can I upload in GitHub. Already GitHub site is prepared, but some bug and some small bug I found. So I fix it and soon upload the source code for the GitHub. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because if you're going to upload your work in GitHub, then probably people will use it, and then your work will be more popular. It will be useful to the IoT community. That's going to be your big contribution.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay. Okay, not unless you have questions, then we proceed to the next speaker, please. Thank you very much, Dr. Tanaka.
Thank you very much. Stop sharing.
Okay. Okay, for the next paper, it's on a cloud virtual migration control mechanism using blockchain. Okay, so if you're ready, then Dr. Chibayashi, if you're ready, then please start.
And you are muted. Open the microphone, please.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. But we cannot see your screen. Go to the first slide. Okay, that's it.
Okay, sorry. Thank you, Chairperson. I'm Toshiro Uchibayashi from Kyushu University. Today, I'd like to talk about cloud-based migration control mechanism using blockchain. First is introduction. In the current cloud, VM migration is essential to move between physical host machines. For example, cloud provider use migration for physical machine maintenance. Cloud users move their developed VM to near the physical location. Then VM migrations are easy to perform and limited only by the VM administrator's scope of contract. This is a serious problem. the data permission in the VM operation. On the other hand, various type data are stored in VMs in the cloud due to the spread of IoT. However, so far there is no mechanism yet to check the data permission in the VM during VM migration. This includes the risk of unintentionally moving proper data and other malicious data movement. So we propose a mechanism to ensure compliance with the conditions permitted by data owner, the country laws and regulations, and the organization rule during VM migration. This is related to ACS, the security warning against migration policy control and ensuring data safety by blockchain are desired. Here is research outline of my presentation. Problem statement is there is no mechanism to check the permission of the data in the VM during cloud VM migration. And there is a concern that improper data movement may occur. Main goal is realization of a robust VM migration control mechanism that prevent unintentional and malicious tampering. We propose an evaluation of a mechanism to ensure compliance with the data owner's permitted conditions, national laws and regulations, and organizational regulations during VM migration. Our contribution and novelty, realization of VM migration control mechanism and management of control mechanism by blockchain. Next, cloud VM migration is physical migration of a VM running on the cloud to another host machine. This is determined by the cloud permissions and whether or not it is physically transferable. In order to solve the problem of improper migration of data contained in VM, we propose a control mechanism using policies. VM have regulation policy include permitted organization code and permitted country code. Host machine has country policy and organization policy. Country policy include physical location of host machine, and organization policy include organization using host machine. On the migration, control mechanism is compare the policies and migration as permit or deny. This is control mechanism using blockchain. The proposed mechanism could prevent the inappropriate transfer of data by malicious administrator. Therefore, in order to prevent malicious alternation of data, we utilize the blockchain to provide a strong data protection mechanism. Our implement was a proposed blockchain-based control mechanism. Composed of VM manager, front-end, and cloud provider. VM manager is managed VM1 in host machine number 2. Front-end has blockchain client and cloud management client. Cloud provider has 5 host machines and 5 host machines by 3 regions. Measure the execution time when adding, updating regulation, country, and organization policy to the blockchain. Information with different values was registered 20 times for each policy, and the average time was examined. Then it took 2,210 milliseconds on average from the VM administrator or host machine administrator to request the blockchain to register the policy until the processing completion notification is returned. These policies are not updated frequently. It takes more than 2 seconds. However, there is no problem. This is evaluation of migration request. First, evaluate the availability of live migration. For example, the case of VMware request migration to host machine number 3. Live migration is not performed because deny message is returned. As a reason, VM1 only permits JP1 and GP, whereas DE is the country where the host machine number 3 is installed and is not in the list of countries in VM1's regulation policy. Second, measure time when requesting live migration. The administrator of VM1 running on the host machine number 1 made 20 live migration requests to the host machine number 5 and examined the average time. It took 15,633 milliseconds on average from the VM administrator to request live migration to blockchain until the processing completion notification was returned. The breakdown was 91 milliseconds for blockchain processing and 15,542 milliseconds for live migration processing. Compared with the live migration processing time, the processing time in the blockchain is 0.58%, and there is almost no overhead cost. Very short time. Last is conclusion. During VM migration, we propose a mechanism to ensure compliance with data owners' license conditions, national laws and regulations, and organizational regulations. By contracting the proposed mechanism in blockchain, we can prevent unintended movement of inappropriate data and malicious tampering, and enable robust VM migration control. Implemented the proposed mechanisms in our existing cloud environment together with the blockchain. Registers the policy about VM and the host machine in the blockchain and evaluated whether the VM live migration decision based on the policy was made correctly. Measures the execution time of live migration using the proposed mechanism and shows that there is almost no overhead cost. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Chibayashi. And do we have some questions or comments from the floor? Anybody? Okay, let me have a quick question. Did you do your experiments in something like in an ideal environment, that is doing this migration without any, I mean, in an ideal environment?
Sorry, please more. One more.
Okay, did you conduct the experiments using an ideal environment? Ideal environment.
Ideal environment. So,
I mean, without any constraints, or probably, I mean, you do the experiments probably in daytime or nighttime or whatever. Are there some restrictions with regards to the hosts?
Yeah, I think I think nighttime is better.
Yeah, but it's an ideal environment. I mean, there's nothing no restrictions at all with regards to the hosts. Between the host machine, the host machines that don't have any restrictions, so it's something like totally free when you do the experiments, right?
Oh, sorry. どう言えばいいんだろう。Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Oh, anyone else?
Yeah, can I?
Yes, sure.
Can I? Yes. I have one question about the execution environment. Here, do you experiment in this environment in the your own host or some cloud service or something? So, do you explain about your environment in execution?
Yes. We implemented a huge and powerful server, VM server. So
your own server?
All VM virtual machine, host machine one is a VM. Yeah, build VM.
But the servers are local?
Yeah, local, yes. And not physical machine. All host machine is a virtual host.
I understand. For environment is in one machine inside one machine.
Huge powerful machine. Yeah. It tests. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Other question? Comments? Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Chibayashi. Okay, shall we proceed to the next speaker? So we have extended RTS CTS control based on transmission request distribution in wireless ad hoc networks. Okay.
Open your microphone, please.
Momoka. Kindly turn on your microphone.
Sorry. Thank you, Chairperson. I'm Mokahara, a student in Tokyo Denki University, Japan. My presentation is entitled Extended RTS-CTS Control Based on Transmission Request Distribution in Wireless Ad Hoc Networks. In wireless ad hoc networks, collision avoidance is mandatory and RTS-CTS control is introduced in most wireless LAN protocols. By combination of CSMA-CA and RTS-CTS control, neighbor nodes have even opportunities to send RTS messages. However, since CTS messages are transmitted passively in response to RTS messages and there is no even contention resolution mechanism for CTS messages, there may be few opportunities for CTS message transmissions. This paper proposes conditional receiver-initiated RTS.
Can you change your slide? Because that's only the first slide. Maybe you have forgot. Maybe you forgot to change your slide.
Sorry.
Okay, go ahead, please.
There may be few opportunities. This paper proposes conditional receiver-initiated RTS-CTS control, which avoids unacceptable longer transmission delay caused by the lack of CTS message transmission opportunities. In a wireless ad hoc network, neighbor nodes communicate directly without help of a stationary base station. AirDrop for file transfer between neighbor nodes is one of the typical applications in wireless ad hoc network. In near future, wireless ad hoc network technologies will support ITS, intelligent transport systems, and IoT, Internet of Things. Since wireless transmission is based on broadcast of wireless signals, collisions of wireless signals are critical. CSMA-CA carrier sense multiple access with collision avoidance avoids collisions of wireless signals from neighbor nodes. A node with transmission request of a data message waits for expiration of its own random backoff timer before transmission of an RTS message. RTS-CTS control avoids collisions of wireless signals from hidden nodes. Before data message transmission from NS to NR, NS send an RTS message to NR, and NR and send back a CTS message to NS. Each neighbor node of NS overhears the RTS message and sets its nav network allocation vector, which represents an interval while it temporarily suspends transmissions of all messages. Same as the RTS message, the CTS message works to suspend temporarily the neighbor node of NR. Since all neighbor nodes of NS and NR suspend, a date and a corresponding ACK messages are transmitted collision-freely. Usually, wireless nodes are not evenly distributed, but density of wireless nodes is different from one place to another. In addition, some wireless nodes have transmission requests of data messages frequently, and the others do not. Depending on the distribution of communication request frequency, communication opportunities are unevenly given to neighbor wireless nodes. Contention resolution for RTS messages give neighbor wireless nodes even opportunities to transmit RTS messages. However, a CTS message is transmitted passively in response to receipt of an RTS message only if no nav is set in NR. Hence, if the communication requests are frequent and around NR, NR has few opportunities to transmit a CTS message to NS. This makes transmission delay of a data message from NS to NR longer. As shown in this animation, since neighbor nodes of NR frequently communicate with their neighbor nodes, NR should almost always set its nav and suspend its message transmissions. Hence, even when NR receives an RTS message from NS, NR has very few opportunities to send back a CTS message to NS. Since a data message is allowed to be transmitted only if both an RTS and a CTS messages are exchanged between NS and NR, uneven transmission opportunities of CTS messages result in uneven transmission opportunities of data messages. Most of the related works proposed method to provide even RTS transmission opportunities to neighbor nodes. Though various methods for even RTS transmission opportunities have been proposed, opportunities for CTS transmissions are uneven among neighbor nodes. This is because a CTS message is transmitted passively in response to receipt of an RTS message, and there are no even contention resolution mechanism among RTS and CTS message transmissions. For example, as shown in this figure, if there are many neighbor nodes around NR, and these neighbor nodes frequently request data message transmissions, NR is often required to set its nav. As a result, NS times out without receiving a CTS message from NR, which cannot send back a CTS message due to its nav settings. Thus, in order to solve these uneven communication opportunities, even opportunities to transmit CTS message are required. In order to solve the problem that CTS message transmissions are suspended unilaterally, this paper proposes conditional receiver-initiated RTS-CTS control. Here, a CTS message is not only transmitted passively but also actively. That is, if NR failed to transmit a CTS message to NS repeatedly, NR sends a preceding CTS message during its nub-free period, even without receipt of an RTS message from NS. In usual RTS-CTS control, an RTS message precedes a CTS message. However, in our proposal, since it is difficult for NR to transmit a CTS message in response to receipt of an RTS message, NR sends a CTS message without waiting for receipt of an RTS message. In order for NR to transmit the CTS message before it is required to set its nub by its neighbor nodes, when its last nub period expires, it sends the CTS message after shifts interval or usual diffs interval with 0 backoff timer value. Since an RTS message from its neighbor node is transmitted after diffs with random backoff timer value, NR can send the CTS message beforehand. On receipt of the receiver-initiated CTS message, NS sends back an RTS message to NR. All the neighbor nodes of NR and NS set their nub as usual and suspend their message transmission for avoidance of collisions during a data and an message transmissions between NS and NR. This is a summary of my presentation. In order to evaluate our proposed method, we will implement our protocol in a simulator and measure distribution of transmission delay of data messages. Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ms. Hara. Any question or comments from the online participants? Okay, well, some people are still preparing for the questions. Let me have some comments. I think in your presentation you didn't have some something like definitions of RTS and CTS. Did you, or I miss it? RTS and CTS. There was no something like a basic definition, because you have used these RTS and CTS terms very extensively in your work, but in your presentation you didn't have something like short descriptions of what is RTS and CTS. Okay, so that's only a comment. And then okay, so do you have something like related works with regards to your research?
Chairperson, I'm the author of this paper, Higaki.
Okay, okay, go ahead, Professor Higaki.
There are many researches to improve the performance of transmission of data messages in ad hoc networks. Other related researches approach that to provide even transmission opportunity of only RTS messages. There are we think there are no or very few discussion about the contention between RTS message and CTS message transmission. This is a new approach.
Okay. Anything else from the online participants, audience? Okay, so not unless you have questions, then I would like to thank Ms. Momo Kahara for her presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
for the next session, FISTA session number 2, we only have 2 papers. So, are we going to have something like, I would like to ask the audience if you would like to have something like a 10 minutes break, or we go continuously?
Well, we have to go.
What do you mean?
To,
we have to
I'm sorry.
continue? We
What,
have to
I'm sorry?
continue?
Yes, we have another chairman now, Rafael Santos.
Yes, but we are in the same session. So Rafael is here.
I think that he was here. I don't know if he's still here.
He is here. You see
Okay.
the picture?
Yes.
He's the guy with the
Rafael,
bird.
are you
That's him.
ready?
That's him.
I don't think so.
But I can take the place of Rafael. He is my co-chair in this workshop.
Okay.
Okay, so
if that's okay with you, we can proceed.
Okay, so do we have? Is the next presenter ready? From from Tokyo Deki University. Interference of overhearing by eavesdropper nodes for secure wireless ad hoc networks. Professor Higaki, is your student ready?
Yes, Hinano.
Yes.
Okay, that's okay. Okay, good. So we proceed with the next session. Okay, so we have Mr. Hinano Amano.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'm Hinano Amano, a graduate student in Tokyo Denki University. My presentation is entitled Intentional Collisions for Secure Ad hoc Networks. Usually, collisions should be avoided to achieve higher performance wireless multi-hop transmissions in ad hoc networks. However, in this paper, we propose a method to proactively utilize collisions for secure wireless multi-hop transmissions. Due to the limitation of battery capacity in wireless node, data messages are transmitted from a source node to a destination node along a wireless multi-hop transmission route. Here, the route consists of a sequence of intermediate nodes which forward data messages from its previous hop node to its next hop node. A data message is carried by a wireless signal, and the signal is intrinsically broadcasted within a signal transmission area of a node. Hence, its neighbor nodes, including a possible eavesdropper node, can overhear the signal. We propose a method to make it difficult for them to overhear the data messages. We believe that combination of our method and the cryptographic communication provides more secure wireless ad hoc networks. Noise signal transmission for preventing overhearing by an eavesdropper node has been proposed. Here, a sender node transmits a wireless signal carrying a data message by using a directional antenna whose transmission area contains a receiver node. A receiver node simultaneously transmits a noise signal, and its neighbor nodes, including eavesdropper node, only receive a superposing signal. Here, only the receiver node knows the noise signal itself. Hence, it receives the superposing signal from one of its neighbor nodes and achieves the original data message while removing the noise signal. Here, the sender node and the receiver node are required to have a directional antenna, and enough computation power for the signal processing, respectively. A data message transmitted by an omni antenna reaches all wireless nodes within its circular signal transmission area. Hence, in order to prevent a reception by an eavesdropper node, the neighbor nodes of a sender node cooperatively transmit noise signals. The noise signal collides with an encrypted data message at the neighbor nodes, including an eavesdropper node. Here, the problem to be solved is which neighbor nodes should transmit noise signals. If an eavesdropper node is in an overlapped areas or signal transmission areas of both the sender node and the noise signal transmitting neighbor node, its overhearing is prevented by the cause collision. Hence, higher coverage over the signal transmission area of the sender nodes by noise signal transmission areas are required. In addition, since the receiver node is also one of the neighbor nodes of the sender node, and is required to surely receive a data message, a collision with the noise signal never occurs at it. That is, the receiver nodes should be out of any noise signal transmission area. Thus, the noise transmission neighbor nodes should satisfy these two conditions. Their signal transmission area should overlap the transmission area of a sender node, and their signal transmission area should exclude a receiver node. First, we consider the case that only one of neighbor nodes of a sender node transmits noise signals. Then automatically satisfy the first condition. In order to satisfy the second condition, the noise signal transmission nodes should be out of the signal transmission area of the receiver node. These noise signal transmission nodes are naturally determined by the usually used RTS-CTS control in an on-demand manner. One of the neighbor nodes of the sender node receiving only RTS in this yellow area transmit noise signals to prevent an eavesdropper node from overhearing a data message. However, coverage by this method is not always enough high. In order to solve this problem, part of the two-hop neighbor wireless nodes additionally become noise transmission nodes. Especially, in order to cover the overlapped area or signal transmission areas of the sender and the receiver nodes, common two-hop neighbors of the sender and the receiver nodes become noise transmission nodes. We have designed an extended routing protocol to determine noise transmission nodes and an extended RTS-CTS control protocol to notify them the time when they transmit noise signals. We evaluated the coverage of our two methods, the only one-hop neighbor method and the one and two-hop neighbor method in some simulation experiments. The number of neighbor nodes distributed randomly, and the distance between the sender and the receiver nodes are varied. This graph shows the simulation results. Introduction of part of two-hop neighbor nodes improves the coverage, especially when the distance is short. Now, I would like to summarize my presentation. For secure ad hoc networks, we propose an introduction of noise transmission neighbor nodes, which cause intentional collisions with the data message at eavesdropper nodes. We clarify the condition for noise transmission neighbor nodes, design their determination protocol, and evaluated the coverage. Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, it's time for question and answer. Okay, anybody have questions or
I have
comments?
a question. Can
Sure.
I? Yeah.
Go ahead.
My question is just my interest story. What kind of wireless network you are supposing to this experimentation? What kind of like Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or something? So what kind of wireless network you are supposing to this work?
We are now supposing the usually used wireless LAN protocols such as IEEE 802.11 and Bluetooth and so on.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Anyone else? Any other question, comments? Okay, let me have a quick question. You have shown some performance evaluation, right? Can you show me the performance evaluation?
Not yet. We only evaluate the coverage, security level. But by using our method, there are additional transmission power consumption is required in neighbor nodes. So we have to evaluate such performance,
Okay.
such transmission power consumption.
So this is only for the coverage.
Yes.
So it is the first proposal is by another group, and the second proposal number 2 is by your group, right? Am I correct? Both proposals are from your group.
Additional neighbor nodes transmit the noise signal. So the coverage becomes high, but the transmission power consumption becomes also high. We have to evaluate the additional power consumption.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Any other question, comments? Okay, not unless you have questions, then we proceed to the next. Okay, thank you very much, Miss Momok. Sorry, I thought, I'm so sorry. I thought you were a male, but Hinano Amano. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hold on. Okay, actually for the next paper, the presenter just sent me his voice, his audio video presentation, because he is not sure if he can arrive on time. He's right now traveling in Kuala Lumpur, and but he said something like, if he cannot make it at the time, then just play the video. He requested that to just play the video, and I haven't seen him yet in Jitsi. So since we don't have time, let me just play his video. Okay, so let's see. How can I do it? Okay, let me share.
Bob, can I make a suggestion? It's Ivan. Hello, everybody. I was following the session. If you are running the video on your PC and sharing the screen, make sure that when you're where you're setting a share screen, to also pick the share audio.
Okay, share audio.
When you are sharing the screen, you also have, yes, if you tick share audio, so we will also be able to hear it if he recorded the sound. If there is some echo, maybe you will need to turn off your microphone, because otherwise we could have a loop of some kind. Okay?
Okay, let's have a try. Let's have a try.
Look, we have enough time. We have plenty of time, so just take your time and do it. Let's do it right.
Okay. Let me do it first. If I can do it. Okay. Let's see. That's the screen. So are you looking, is it the whole screen or just one of the screens?
We see the whole desktop.
Are you seeing? Okay, that's not the one. Okay, because I was just trying to, hold on. What about this one? Oh, can you hear it?
Yes, we can hear it. Not very loud, but something. Did you share the sound, or is it just your microphone that it's coming through?
Yeah, but no. I just something like click on the replay.
Yes, but you're not sharing the screen now.
Yeah, because it's only the whole screen. It occupies the whole screen.
Yes, you have to share the screen, and then you have to share your desktop, tick the share audio, and then play.
So let me do it again.
Yeah, sure.
So
I'm share your do the sharing. Do the sharing first. Tick the share audio in the window.
Share audio.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sharing the screen.
Yes, it will appear now. Just a second.
Okay. I think. What about this one?
Okay. Now we can see your screen, and if you put it. Now try to play it.
Okay. So. Okay.
It's a little bit disturbed. No, it's not. It's not working. I would suggest this, Bob. Can you unshare it? I would suggest this. Why don't we put this presentation directly on the Riot platform, so that you can see it when you have time, and then continue commenting there. Maybe this is the best way. Huh? What do you say?
Just in something like Riot, the Riot platform.
Should be back now. Yeah. Quit your sharing.
Oh, I quit.
Yeah, it's coming probably. Okay, Bob.
Yes.
I think we could do it this way. We can upload it on the Riot platform, and everybody can join there in your group, in your room, and have a look at it, either now or maybe even later. And you have some time now for the session if you want to wrap it up, have some more discussion, because the session is supposed to end at 1 o'clock, so we have plenty of time if you have already done the presentations. How about that?
Yep. But I have to upload this in the Riot.
If you want to send it to me, I can do it. I mean, if it helps you.
Let me just send you the link.
Okay, good, fantastic.
Okay, good. Okay, so that's it. So this presentation, this paper will be paper presentation. The video paper presentation will be uploaded in Riot platform, and then you can feel free to watch the video and then send some questions if ever you need to. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody, for your cooperation and your presentation. I'm hoping that you're going to submit your paper again for a next paper in next year's conference or workshops. Okay. So anybody wants to say something? Rafael?
Good morning from Brazil.
Okay, good morning. It's 7 in the morning in Brazil.
Yes, but it's not too early for me, but I had to set up the house. I'm going to host the next section that starts at 8. So I'll be around.
Okay. Okay, for the rest of the participants, thank you very much again for coming, for joining the workshop and the conference. So hoping you have you can spare your time and to watch other presentations and raise questions if you have some doubts or something to learn more. Okay?
Yeah, and don't forget to go to Riot, of course, if you want to follow up and the discussion and also looking for the announcements. Bob, did you send it to me by email or how?
Not yet.
Okay, good.
Because I'll send it away in a few minutes.
Over email?
Okay. Email.
Okay, as soon as it arrives, I will then I will put it on the room. What is the room name? Sarah, no, the Riot room.
Vista.
Okay, Vista. So I will put it on Riot in Vista room. Okay, good, fantastic.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Natalia.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Live streaming.
So good morning to everyone. My name is Alfonso. I'm a PhD in the University of Munich, and I'm here to present the work of that was Que tal? Sim. Sim. Boa! Que bom. Sim. Ainda bem. Agora falta segunda, né? É terça. E como é que ficou com o outro texto? Oh. Oh. Que merda, foi. Claro. Vamos lá ver. Claro. Não é por aí. Tá bem, pronto. Olha, eu logo vou a Braga. E até tive que pedir para ficar aí porque tenho que sair às 6 da manhã. Vamos a ver. O jogo é. Vou com ele. Não, não vou. Não vou. Uhum. Ah, não vou. Não. Não. Uhum. Tá bem. Pronto. Uhum. Bem. Tá bem. Vá. Até logo. Beijo. Tchau.
And then the root project, the second project, is the applicability of this framework for supporting policy definition. In this research, it's particularly important to underline the consideration of the scale of evaluation of these.
Hi. So, oh, thanks.
Urban ecosystem
So,
study, a specific area.
wait, someone, can you close the microphone, please?
The research of the final supporting table that can be used as a preliminary framework.
Thanks.
So, good morning, everyone. My name is John Silva. I'm a PhD student at the University of Lima. So good morning to everyone. President Technology Plus in Revit. This work was developed last year by my colleague Julia Vaz during this master thesis and with the supervision of Professor Sumir Teixeira, Luis Martins, and José Teixeira from the University of London. These are the contents of my presentation, beginning with a brief suggestion.
Hi to everyone. There is someone.
Hello.
Hello. I'm Sarah, the GT moderator.
Okay, I'm Nelson.
Hi.
I'm the
Hello,
second present,
Sarah.
I think.
Hi to everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Morning.
Good morning.
I'm Signorina.
There is someone. Okay,
Hello.
Signorina is our third lady for this session. The GT moderator.
Okay.
Someone have YouTube open.
I think.
Hi to everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello. Morning.
Please close YouTube, the live stream, or mute the live stream on YouTube.
Hello,
Okay.
I'm here. My name is João Silva.
Your volume is really low.
Yeah, I think it's not working very well.
You have a microphone? So Signorina is here. Oh, yes. You are muted.
Hello.
Okay. So Signorina is here.
Yes, I am. Good morning, Sarah.
Hi. Can you please close YouTube, the live stream? You are muted. I hear my voice.
Is that all right?
It's awful. Okay.
Are you hearing me?
So Signorina is here.
Yes. Yes, I am.
Yes, no, someone had YouTube open on the live stream. So please close YouTube. You are muted. I hear my voice. It's awful. Okay.
Are you hearing me?
Signorina is here.
Yes, I am.
Yes, no, someone had YouTube open on the live stream. So please close YouTube. You are muted. I hear my voice.
Are you hearing me? Is that all right?
Okay, no, I think that's okay. That's fine.
It's fine now, Sarah?
Okay, yes, it's fine. Thanks. So I'm the GT assistant if you need help with the platform with presentations, okay?
Okay.
Now we can start.
More or less, yes.
With the presentation. What do you think?
It's almost time, yes.
Yeah, so 1 minute.
1 minute, yes.
Yes.
I think the presenters are all ready. They answer to you.
I think we have the presenters. Open your microphones, please.
Yes.
Okay, amazing. So we have 2 papers.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you think I can start, Sarah? Or
Yeah,
I wait a little bit. 1 minute more.
Okay, no. We
I
have
was
time. We can start now.
in another room. I'm sorry. I can wait because I was in another room.
Okay. But we can start now if you want.
Okay.
So I leave the stage to you. I'm here with check for problems. Bye.
Thank you all. Welcome to our session of computational studies for energy and comfort in buildings. And I want to start to say that I'm very sad that I am in Portugal and not in Italy. Really, the weather here is nice, but but I would prefer to be in Italy, as all of us. We have just two presenters, and but first I want to thank you, all of you, Sara, because you are helping, Damiano, that helped us to connect to make the room. Also, I want to thank you, my colleagues Ana Rocha and Luis Martins, for organizing the workshop. And I don't know if they are on, but they will be, I think, unless they change the time because it's different for us. I will start with Anna is arrived. Anna, thank you for the workshop. I was just in. Thank you. We have two presenters. First, I think is the first presenter is João. I think. Let me see.
Yes.
Sorry. I don't know if I lost the room. No, I'm all right. Is that all right? Are you hearing me? Because I lost the connection.
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm sorry. I had some interference on my computer. The first presenter is João Silva. Is a PhD at the University of Minho. Is in the doctoral program of MIT Portugal, and is doing PhD on biomass combustions and other aspects of energies. So he's going to present the paper entitled Energy Performance of a Service Building, Comparison between Energy Plus and Revit. I don't know if João is ready to present, but I will pass the word for him, okay?
So, are you hearing me?
Not too much, João.
So I have to talk a little bit to the computer. Now it's better? Is it better now?
For me, yes.
Yes. So
Yes, for me it's better. Yes.
So good morning to everyone. My name is João Silva. I'm a PhD student at University of Minho, as Professor Senhorinha said. I'm here to present work entitled as Energy Performance of a Service Building, Comparison between Energy Plus and Revit. This work was developed last year by my colleague José Brás during his master thesis and with the supervision of Professor Senhorinha Teixeira, Luís Martins, and José Teixeira from University of Minho. These are the contents of my presentation, beginning with a brief contextualization on the main subject, followed by the objectives, the case study, methodology used to perform the energy simulations, and finally, the presentation of the results and some final considerations. So, one of the most important energy consumers in the European Union is the building sector. This sector is responsible for approximately 36% of CO2 emissions and 40% of the finally energy demands. In Portugal, the building sector is responsible for around 30% of the final energy consumption, and it was reported that 50% of this consumption can be reduced by using energy efficiency measures corresponding to 400 million tons of saved CO2 emissions. So buildings may provide an important opportunity to reduce the energy consumption and the negative impacts on global warming. Consequently, great challenges to achieve the decarbonization agenda of the European Union to make this sector energy efficient are occurring in the building sector. And for this purpose, the European Union has implemented several directives and following the regulatory approach to optimize and develop sustainable design and efficient energy analysis. Computer simulation tools are, of course, an effective method to analyze different systems. So the general objective of this work is to study the energy performance in a new service building in Portugal. This general objective can be divided in 3 specific objectives: the utilization of 2 different programs to perform the same energy analysis and to avoid biased results as suggested in the literature, determination of the annual energy consumption and thermal loads, and verify the veracity of the results obtained using a new software, the Revit software. This is an important work to provide answers to very specific questions during design of the new service building, since with building energy simulations tools, we can predict the energy performance and evaluate the influence of some key variables in an easy and fast way. The building will be a hypermarket consisting of 3 floors. First floor is below ground level and will have a technical space and a parking area. The second floor will mainly consist of the spaces affected by the commercial area where customers can access the services. And the third floor will consist of a training room, break room, and toilets. The building has 12 meters 8, and the main front is oriented to the east. Regarding the air conditioning system, will consist of 3 heat pumps inserted on the roof of the building, producing heating and cooling for the sales area. And for the remaining climatic zones, there are split units. However, the remaining spaces with permanent occupation will be ensured through an air handling unit. Table 1 presents the characteristics of the building's air conditioning system, and the figure on the right side presents the general aspect of this type of equipment. So the simulation study was developed by 2 energy simulation softwares, as I said before. The first one, Energy Plus, a robust energy simulation software with a high potential for simulation of the building energy consumption under different thermomechanical conditions, an open source software. Regarding the Revit software, this is a software essentially used for design and allows to perform some calculations. And the simulation started with drawing the geometry of the building. Regarding the Energy Plus, the opaque exterior envelope was drawn on SketchUp, and then physical and thermal characteristics were defined on OpenStudio. OpenStudio is a friendlier and simpler interface than working directly with Energy Plus software. Concerning the Revit model, the architecture of the building was initially imported from an AutoCAD program file. In this way, it allowed modeling the building with the best possible accuracy. Regarding the input data to the energy simulation software, starting with climatic data, one of the most important parameters in thermal simulation of the buildings on the Energy Plus software on the left side, the Climax SCE 1.05 software was used to obtain the reference meteorological year and the corresponding weather statistics. On Revit, we don't have a library of climatic files for each location, so we used an approximated location. And we can see on this figure the differences between the data from both softwares. And if we compare 2 specific days, you can see there is a difference of 2 degrees Celsius between the data from both softwares. Regarding the materials and construction, the process was the same on both software. The layered constructions were created from the exterior to the interior surface and the ground contact surface, and the materials were defined in terms of its properties, as we can see on table 2. Regarding the operation profiles, we defined schedules for the whole here from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. These include profiles of occupation, electrical equipment, lighting, and the process was almost the same on both softwares. And on table 3, we present the loads that we defined on software. Regarding the HVAC equipment characteristics, it was necessary to create several systems that met the building's HVAC systems HVAC requirements. We defined a set point temperature for summer and winter season. On Revit, the creation of this type of systems is not allowed, so we need to select the the HVAC system from the library of the Revit. So this is one difficulty for us. So the results of the Energy Plus are presented here. The figure presents the distribution of annual energy consumption, and most of the consumption is due to the lighting and air conditioning purposes, representing 66.5% of final consumption. Furthermore, it should be noted that regarding different zones of the building, sales area represented energy expenses close to 90% of the general consumption. And through the analysis of the Energy Plus results, the months with highest electrical consumption are January, July, August, and December. This increase in energy consumption is due to the building's heating and or cooling needs to maintain the interior temperature and to ensure thermal comfort. So the Revit results are quite different. The main sector responsible for energy consumption is lighting sector. Regarding thermal loads and annual electricity consumption, the results obtained with two simulation tools are also quite different. With Energy Plus, we obtain 442 megawatt hour, while with Revit we obtain a higher value. We obtain the same trend for the maximum thermal loads in sales area for heating and cooling. With Energy Plus, we obtain 761 kilowatt and 79 kilowatt, while with Revit we obtain also higher values. So some final considerations. The energy consumption and thermal loads were analyzed with two different simulation tools. Energy Plus results for heating and cooling are 10% lower when compared with the results from Revit. The differences between the results are mainly because Revit is very limited in selection of climatic files and the definition of the HVAC systems. So we need to improve our approach on Revit to obtain better results. So this is my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, João. We didn't hear very well. I think the sound was not very good, but anyway, we saw your presentation. Can you? Yes, thank you. If you don't mind to leave our space. I don't know, we have time because we have just two presentations. I don't know if someone wants to make a question. We have time for that. If not, I just would like to ask our experience with industrial softwares or commercial softwares is that they have to give a good balance between the accuracy and study different effects, but also the time that they have to think. In your experience, what you think is the best software at the moment? I don't know if you know, João, to answer to me.
Yes, I think Energy Plus is the best software now because we have all capabilities to perform a good simulation, and we can, as we can see on the presentation, we can define the HVAC system that we have on the building and the climatic file right for the place that we have the building. And on Revit we don't have this capabilities, so we are a little.
Yes, I think they are developing that. I think the software is changing because there are other students that are already working on that, and they say the software is changing. So we will see. Thank you. If you don't, I don't have any questions more. Thank you again. And I don't know if Nelson Rodrigues is already prepared.
Yes, I'm present. I'm
Yes,
ready.
thank you, Nelson. Professor Dr. Nelson is a postdoc at University of Minho in a research project, but he did his PhD on comfort in buildings. So I think he's talking about what he knows. And if you are ready, we can start your presentation.
Okay, one moment. Okay. Could you confirm if you are watching my presentation?
Yes, it's all
Okay,
right.
so
Thank you. You can start.
okay,
Right.
then as Professor Signorinha said, my name is Nelson. I'm with University of Minho, and I'm presenting to you a work made by Ricardo Noversa, which was a master's student at University of Minho last year. And the study is the thermal simulation of a supermarket cold zone with integrated assessment of human thermal comfort. This presentation will contain the framework, the research aim that we propose to solve, the methodologies, results and discussion, conclusions, and also some ideas for future development. The framework of this work, we focused on the energy costs that we are facing in European Union, especially when you consider that we are importers of energy, importing about 53% of the energy that we consume. This also represents an environmental issue, and if we could eliminate the waste energy that we have or reduce the energy uses, we can improve the economy of the European Union and also the environment as well, which is something that we all should think about. So where to act? As a continuation of the previous work, we choose to work on supermarkets because they are large buildings, they are widespread across the world, so they have a lot of potential to save energy, especially if we act in the construction phase and we improve the energy that we the energy use that we have in those buildings. Inside the supermarket, we chose to act on the supermarket cold zones, and these zones are characterized by the concentration of freezers and other equipment that will keep the alimentary products chilled or frozen. They are responsible for the most energy costs of the supermarket, not only by operation costs of the equipment, but also the HVAC, which stands for heat, ventilation, and air conditioning systems for those zones. And why do we need also to include the HVAC systems? Because within those zones, we also need a safe environment for the people which are there. They cannot be cold because people would have a decreased efficiency of their work activities. And we cannot allow that. And also, if we have an environment which is comfortable, people will feel better, not only the workers, but also the buyers. And when people feel better, they tend to spend more time in that area and also are more prone to buy. And for the supermarkets, that it's their main aim is to sell the products to the people that are visiting. So with that in mind, we also need to guarantee that we have thermal comfort in the cold areas of the supermarket. Thermal comfort, it can be expressed as the condition of mind which one express satisfaction, with the thermal environment, and it can be defined by 6 fundamental factors, namely external factors, which are air temperature, air velocity, radiant temperature, and relative humidity, and personal factors such as clothing insulation and the metabolic rate. With this, we can assess thermal comfort. So keep joining these 2 points, the economical and the environment, with the thermal comfort that we need, we propose to save energy while assuring the thermal comfort. And for that, the proposal of this work is, if we can still have thermal comfort in the supermarket cold zone by reducing the air inflow that is normally used by 15%. To ensure also a detailed data acquisition and perform physical tests without having the need to go to the place and make physical tests, because they are expensive and this supermarket is still under construction, so we could not make physical tests. That way we propose to make computer simulation using the CFD methodology. CFD methodology consists in, generally speaking, we have physical geometry, a physical model. We have to discretize that model to solve equations that govern the fluid flow, and with that we can have our results in terms of physical variables, and using those physical variables we can assess the thermal environment and thermal comfort of that specific region. This is the section of the supermarket used in the simulation. We only have just a moment. Okay. We are simulating this region, but since it is symmetrical, for reducing computational time and resources, we used only a small portion. That is modeled here. And these rectangular regions inside represent the freezers that are in this part of the supermarket. Okay. This was the discretization of the domain. We have about 2.2 million of elements with a good quality. I'm not going to detail, but these are good quality index for the mesh. The equations used were the mass conservation, momentum. These two are always necessary. The energy equation for the energy transport within the fluid flow. The species transport equation was necessary to model the relative humidity with transport of the water vapor. Turbulence model was K omega, which is used for the low Reynolds regime of flow. And the radiation model used was the surface to surface model. This was a simplification, but with the data we had available, was a simplification necessary. Okay, the simulations made were for two specific seasons: the winter with a cold day, and another for the summer that represents a cold day. The main difference here are the external temperature. The ventilation velocity is the same, so the inlet flow was the same for both seasons. We have a temperature of inlet of 33 degrees, since the ventilation here is supposed to heat the environment, and here the ventilation is supposed to cool down the environment. In terms of walls, in winter, we have the cooling provided by the walls, because they are cold from the outside, and at winter we have the opposite, where the walls are hot and they tend to heat the internal environment. In terms of results for winter, as we expect, we have generally a colder environment with lower temperatures. The majority of temperatures in these regions are within 19 and 20 degrees Celsius. But as you can see, for this jet-like behavior, this is the inlet, and the simulation can show us that only the middle plane, this is the middle region of the simulated section. That is right under the inlet. It's where we have hotter temperatures, and as you can see, the inlet provided by the HVAC system is very I'm sorry if I missed the word, but it influences more the environment that when we are at summer. Why? Because here at summer we have also the cooling effect caused by the freezers that are in the lower part. So at summer the freezers help to maintain lower temperatures that are near comfort, but temperature alone is not sufficient to define thermal comfort. For that, we used an index that is the PMV, which is the predicted mean value for a vote of thermal comfort in a region, and it varies between -3, which means very cold, to +3, which means very hot, and 0 is thermal neutrality. So what we seek here are values that are near 0 for PMV. At winter, we have tendency for negative values with a minimum of -2 near the floor, which is the coldest region. But the middle plane, we have an average value of -0.5, which is a good value. And for the other planes, we have a value of -0.8. To keep this in perspective, the ISO for thermal comfort defines that regions which are between +0.7 and -0.7 are regions which we have thermal comfort. So when you have an average of -0.8, we have achieved a region with thermal comfort. The only problem here is that we have on the floor regions with low value of with low PMV value, which may cause discomfort, because we can have an average value which is comfortable, but if you have cold feet, we will not feel comfortable. And for that, we could use, for instance, heated tiles or localized inlets that could heat the bottom region to prevent that from happening. At summer, we have a more comfortable environment with a minimum PMV of -1 when we are in direct contact with the cold air inlet. That this is provided for is due to the air inlet. The middle plane, we have an average value of -0.1 and 0.2, which is really close to the zero value on thermal comfort. And at summer, we can conclude that the thermal comfort is less dependent on the ventilation distribution, as the opposite occurs in winter. In terms of conclusions, we could assess the thermal comfort with PMV using the ANSYS Fluent, and this methodology allows us to have a detailed mapping of the localized thermal comfort, which is not achievable by traditional methods, because when we are making measurements, we don't have the same detailed results for that we can obtain with the simulation, because simulation we can have an accuracy that is higher, let's say, because when you are dividing the domain in 2.2 million regions, when we are measuring in the physical environment, we can't have 2.2 million probes, let's say. It's really difficult to have that. So this is a main advantage for making the simulation. We also saw that for January, we are near the limit value of -0.7 in the average value, but we also have to address the problem of localized thermal discomfort, which was verified through the simulation. And one solution could be, like I said, the heating tiles or put localized air inlets. On the other hand, for the 22nd of August at summer, the simulation was showed values that we are closer to thermal neutrality, and with values between minus 0.1 and 0.2 of PMV near zero, which are very acceptable values for thermal comfort. However, we also verified the concentration of hot air near the ceiling, which showed an opportunity for further development of the HVAC system in the supermarket, because if you remove that heat that is on the ceiling, we have better efficiency in cooling the area of the supermarket at summer. For future work, we aim to include the occupation in this, by people on that region, because if you have a region that is occupied by many people, their metabolism may cause an increase of temperature, and that could vary thermal comfort in the region we are studying, and also we aim to improve the treatment of the radiation, because the surface-to-surface model, which was a simplification, only verifies the increase of radiant energy from one surface to the other. So we don't have the radiation value for each cell, and that can be a problem when we are calculating the PMV values for each cell that we made in this study. And ideally, we should use another model that can use that, or disease, give a value of radiant temperature for each cell, so when we are calculating PMV through an algorithm, we can have that specific value and not an averaged value. I like to give acknowledgement to the FCT and the Algorithm Center and also the Metric Center, which are the research centers from University of Minho. And thank you for your time, and I hope you liked the presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them.
Thank you, Nelson. You don't give us some much time for questions because it was a long presentation. I'm sorry I didn't interrupt you because we like to hear you, but also we don't have any other presentation. So I think we can say if you have any questions, you still have time, or just a comment, and I leave you with the.
May I make a comment, a question? Congratulations for your work. You have worked with simulation studies. Have you any time to have opportunity to make some measures in local? The supermarket is already open, right? I recognize this.
Yes, in this case, when the study was performed, the supermarket was not open yet.
Yes.
So this was a preview of what was going to happen in terms of thermal comfort. So in this case, in the specific study, we don't have physical measurements. We performed all other studies, let's say, that we performed the comparison between simulated and physical values. I can say that it was in an hospital, but not in this case of the supermarket.
The supermarket.
Yes.
All right. It's a curiosity. You can measure the accuracy of your system if you have this. All right.
Yes,
thank you.
I can answer that in the hospital we have a good agreement with there were variations, of course, but we had a good agreement. Here we don't have that data to answer the question.
Thank you, Nelson.
Okay.
Thank you, Anna. And we did a similar study in a factory, a large store of a factory, and it was nice to have experimental data to compare. But because these works are done with different students, sometimes we don't have time to do all in the same project. So we always have a continuation of some works. This will be nice to do. And also when we did this work, it will be important to see the savings of energy that we have. That is an aspect that I think is very important in this study. Not just comfort, of course, comfort is important because people will buy, but also it will be important to show to the industrials that we know how much energy we can save. That I think is something that it would like to suggest for future works as well. I don't know if there is any questions, but it's almost lunchtime. Thank you all for being. Thank you, Sarah.
Sarah, yes, thanks to you
for helping us. Everything went well, and I hope to see you again. And thank you all for being with us. Thank you.
Can I make a suggestion? Sorry, can I make a suggestion? All
Yes.
of us open the video, please, to take a picture.
Oh, thank you.
I don't have a video.
Oh.
I'm on a desktop PC.
Okay.
I apologize, but
João. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Ana Rocha?
That's it. Thank you.
You don't have a picture, Anna?
Yes. I did the picture now.
Okay. Thank you, Anna. It's a good reminder of all this. Will you please go to YouTube to see again the presentations?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Sarah.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.